guys, welcome to We Are Pio, episode number 3. Right, people? My name is Lucky Gondu.
My name is Wambui.
And my name is Gina.
Welcome to We Are Fio, guys. And Fio stands for We Are Figuring It Out. So we restarted the podcast. I hope you have been listening to our previous episodes. We have dropped 2 episodes so far in this new season. So we decided to go with seasons. And our first episode was on connections from our first initial community gathering. The second one on remote working. And now we are releasing our third one. We hope it's the third one, by the way. If it's not, it will be the 4th one.
Just count before this one.
Before this one. Yes, so thank you guys. Welcome. We are so happy for your engagement on our page and with our community. We did our candle event.
Yes.
How was it? I think for me it was one of the best activities ever.
Yeah. It was, right?
Yeah,
especially when you go home with a candle that you
made. Yeah. It's just like you did something, you gained a skill.
Yeah.
It's like, it's just like an add-on. Like, I feel so nice. Like, right now I can say I'm a candle maker. After I'm just making one candle.
It's enough experience.
It's enough experience, right? So thank you so much for Mookie McStaff for partnering with us. And thank you for everyone who showed up for that event. And we're having more and more and more events. So I want you to log in to our social media platforms, which is
we_r_fio across Instagram and TikTok.
Yes. And the interesting thing also, we release weekly videos. So make sure that you check that out because we get to share our gems, what you're thinking during the week, what caught us, and also something in relation to what is coming up in terms of events. So make sure that you're also checking that out on both our Instagram and our TikTok page, which is at wearefio_r_fio. Yes. So let's get into the conversation of the day, ladies. So apparently iliambiwa conversation ya leo. Yeah. So the conversation of today is around tea. It's about what does sensuality mean to us and how does sensuality play a part in who we are, and how we get to express sensuality out here. So initially I was just like, okay, what is sensuality? So I think the first thing that for me just goes to intimacy. Yes, sensuality. Sex. Does it happen also for you guys?
Yeah, when I initially when I had sensuality, I was like, this is about bang bang.
That's the first thing that comes to the mind. Yeah,
and I think for most of us it's the case because it's sensual. I don't know whether it's because it is like near sexual. Like sensual,
or
sexual.
All of the things that you see and they're sensually all just showing
related
sexuality. So that's why I think that's the first go-to when you hear sensuality.
So what does sensuality mean? Let's first start with what it means by the dictionary. Then we can jump into like what is our experience of sensuality as African women and as women in general.
Right. So sensuality, this I'm reading, it's a definition, is a deep conscious experience of your senses. So that is touch, taste, smell, sound, sight, and the pleasure, aliveness, and presence they bring.
So pleasure, aliveness they bring, and presence that they bring.
So it's not just about sexuality. Sensuality is about being fully in your body, aware of its sensations and allowing yourself to enjoy beauty, softness, movement, connection, and pleasure in everyday moments.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah.
Do you ever think about like your eating sense in that manner?
Eating
or hearing, like out of your 5 senses. Let me start. Out of your 5 senses, which is your like top sense that you feel like you get to experience the pleasure, the softness, and you're very present with, and which one is the least? So we have 5 senses, which is touch.
We have sight. We have smell, sound, and taste.
Okay.
So that's touch, taste, smell, sight, and sound.
I think the most predominant for me is smell. Yeah.
That like arises your pleasure.
I always like not pleasure.
And awakens your presence.
It awakens my senses.
Okay.
Sensuality. Senses.
Okay.
So I feel like smell, like if I smell, especially flowers, I always feel like, oh my God. And then the candles we created, and the scented candle I have is a rose. And so it was like, oh my God, it smells so good. So I think my sense of smell is the most awake in terms of sexuality.
Does that also just, because to work with people.
Like if like I know a smell that would make me feel a certain way.
What about you? Which is the list?
Yeah,
before you come.
That one is hard. I'm trying to think about it.
As you think.
So that is smell. So the rest is touch, taste, sight, and sound. Which is your least?
Sound. Yeah.
Mm.
I don't know if sound does anything sensually.
Music.
Music.
Because sound is ears.
But it depends. Because like right now, there's a song, it's Hornsphere. I don't know if you guys know it.
Hornsphere?
Yeah.
I think.
Yeah, by, I can't remember. But a Kenyan guy and then a band. Yeah. That song, when I hear it, I feel a certain way. It makes me feel, even in my body. But only because it's attached to how I feel about someone and a memory I have.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Makes sense. Gina?
For me, okay. When I was in a relationship, it was touch.
Okay.
Because I'm a touch person.
Yeah.
That goes without saying. But taste. Taste is, I'd say, the most that I have sensory in, because I have food gasms. You eat food and you're like, For example, there's my mom, if she makes fish for you, the first taste usually, Mami nioe, marry me.
Oh my God.
It's dangerous. Imagine, I just tell my mom, marry me, because this, or you make something and you just taste it for the first time, like,
I'll marry myself.
Eat it like, oh, metosha kuenda. So
You're very blind.
I wear glasses, I'm a blind bat. And then there's this reel that says, it shows a lady without glasses, and then someone says, I love your eyes. I'm like, oh, thank you. They don't work. So for me, sight, not so much.
Oh my God, I am trying to think.
I have a very scandalous question.
Okay. Should I answer first before? I don't know. Like, I am trying to think, like, which one is, like, at top. Which one awakens my senses? Because for me, with sound, I love music. I love what music does to my body. The feeling of, like, there are just times I just listen to music, I'm just like,
Yeah.
just making me feel some type of way. And then there is, so I think that mostly in regards to sound. Also, I think I also love voices.
How you doing, mama?
Thank you, sweetheart. So I feel like I also enjoy like listening to people and like how they speak and their voice. I think probably a voice can turn me on and off, like depending. So I think sound would be top, but also part of my physical, one of my love languages is physical touch. And I think I receive it, but I don't give it.
You don't give physical
Touch, but I receive it. Sight. Okay. Maybe don't know. I'm so confused. Confused. I am blind, but I like. So I don't know what sight would look like. About like, is it when you see someone you're just like, or when you see something you're just like, I don't know how
that you take pictures of.
Yeah, maybe.
With
But does
glasses
that
on.
arouse anything in me? I just think, oh wow, it's beautiful. God's creation. God has done a good job.
Or when you see the person you like. I don't know.
Because for me, quality time and physical touch are part of my love languages and at top. So me seeing you and spending time with you,
or like it's two different things.
like spending time with you, like quality time and physical touch are top of my, and it makes sense why they would be at the top, because you can't have physical touch minus quality time.
Yeah.
You have to have both at the same time. So in terms of sight, but I think for me the first one would be sound.
The first one.
Yeah.
The least.
And the least, taste. I don't know. I don't think I am so crazy about taste in that way. But I love good smell. Yeah, I don't think I'm that crazy about taste.
So if
Yeah,
it was
because
a
nowadays I
hierarchy-
enjoy something very uninteresting and I can be like, okay,
You
I can do it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Hierarchy, I don't know about hierarchy, man. I think sound, then physical touch. No, not physical touch, but touch.
And then smell.
And then smell.
So that leaves sound and... You said sound?
And sight.
Sight.
Somewhere there.
So taste and sight...
Yeah,
Last.
last, yeah.
Okay, what was your scandalous question?
I don't know if I want to be scandalous, but you
Ask
said,
them and we can do other person.
You said yours, the first one is taste, and then you said you're a blind bat. So how do you see someone you do? How do you engage with someone you like? You can't see them. Is it taste first?
In case you're wondering, my jaw is on the floor.
But that's a valid question, though.
Well,
It's
dot.
that's a valid
Because it hit
question.
me, I was just like, okay, you're blind, and then
So if you don't,
I'm not that blind.
like, does someone being attractive mean something? If sight is like how they look, does it mean something?
like if you see someone,
Someone-
see, the first okay,
your
but there's
eyes.
also some people I know who are attracted to someone based on their voice.
Yeah,
So yeah, it's a flip coin. Any side, it works.
it can work, right? Okay. If your sensual energy was a color, what would it be and why? Your sensual energy, and do you feel like you show up in your sensual and like, are you present to your sensual energy at any given point or time?
I think I would say red.
Yeah,
But I'm also feeling like a light brown. I can't.
there's a cameloness towards.
Yeah,
yeah.
yes. So I think I would actually. I think I have two. There's a level of my sensuality that is very red, and that's mostly associated with sexual.
Yeah.
Like sensuality that is leading towards like something
Sexual.
sexual. And then there's the other sensuality of just me, nobody else involved. That one feels like a beige light kind of thing. So I'm just like feeling in that flow. So
Yeah. And I've never thought about colors, but can we check like what colors relate to when it comes to sexual energy? That would be interesting to know. I think for me, I feel like it has to be a bright color. I feel like, and I think maybe when I interact with people, probably they wouldn't see how my sensuality comes. But I feel like I'm very, mostly if you get me like in a club where I'm just going out to listen to music, I'm always in the flow. Like I'm always out, I'm always feeling myself. So I think in that manner I'm like loud, but there are like sensual experiences of like what it has said, like softness and presence, that's just for me. And I think maybe that would also be like something beige or clean, and that's not very loud. But so I'm in my mind, the first thing that came to my mind is yellow, like as my.
I actually thought you would say yellow.
Yeah. So I feel like I have a bright energy towards like my sensual energy. And also with my, I want to say not partner, but like if I'm around people that bring out also some of this sense, like when I'm enjoying food with other people, like I'd be
like the ndoma.
Yeah, like what we had together, like that. Those kind of things bring out a different sensual energy, being around people that I'm connected to. Yeah, but then there are those things that are just like me and myself. And then there are things that, like there's music I listen to and I'm just like, oh my God, if I could just have someone here and dance for.
People, that was the invitation. There's people, there's dancing, there's the moves, there's the person who is dancing. It's just the people who are being danced for that are missing.
Apply art.
We should do like a blind date event.
Yeah. What color?
I don't know. Honestly, I don't know. I'd say, I don't even know if this is associated with sensuality or whatnot. I just love emerald green. This one you already know. And when I was leaving work yesterday, I met up with a friend. I'd say a friend. We were coming from the office. And then he said, I always see you in black.
He said.
Yes, he always see you. I always see you in black. Do you ever wear any other colors? So, there's emerald green and then there's black. And I don't know what it means. Or what, I am as green as emerald green.
Yeah, I thought it would lead to something really, really cool.
Questions after the podcast.
But to be honest, I don't know. I've never ever thought. Okay, it's not I don't know. I've never thought about it. So maybe we can revisit that question later on.
So, what is sensuality different from sexuality for you? I think sensuality does a lot with, I think it adds into your sexuality more than sexuality adds into your sensuality.
Oh yeah,
in a way.
I think it starts with
and
senses.
mostly for women. Yeah. For us, it's like you need to have some form of experience of sensual energy that now leads into sexual energy, right? Because I feel like when you're not present with your own senses, and that's why like you need to get out of your head into your body for you to be able to experience sexuality.
Yeah.
I
agree.
Yeah. So I think that would be the difference for me.
I agree.
You agree? You have nothing else to add on that?
No. Senses first, then sex.
Then sex.
It made me remember, I don't know if it was a reel, I don't know if it was a video, but there was this couple that they just sat down and they were just, what do you call it? It's like sitting down on the floor and then your partner is sitting on your lap and it's just touch, just sensory. touch. This is nothing to do with sex, or it's just intimacy of just being present with each other.
Yeah.
Removing the sexual aspect. So it connects you more, it grounds you more than the actual act. So, yeah.
I'm sure after that.
In Sex, Love and Goop, sensuality is part of what they teach a couple. They are teaching a couple, which is a heterosexual couple. And men assume they do not have sensuality.
Yeah.
But in that episode, that man comes to
Peaks
just through touch, just through his senses being awakened, just by having things, feathers, like just flow through his body. He even cries, and he had never had such an experience. Because for him, and as many men, think that sensuality, for them, it's just the only one way.
The organ.
Yeah, the organ is the only one way in which they can achieve pleasure, but they don't know they can achieve pleasure through other bodily senses.
Yeah.
I don't know what the saying of, if you would want to keep a man, feed him. What does taste have to do with keeping a man, and what does taste have to do with sensuality that equals sexuality for men? I'd be so interested to know.
There is also, now that you bring it up, I think men's taste, because they can tell you if they can say like, my mother is the best cook. Or my girlfriend, or they know a specific joint where if they go,
they will get.
Yeah, they're very particular on. I know how they meet there. So I feel like they have more taste, senses. And I think also, even like from my experience, when you cook a really good meal, there are chances that you'll be very lucky
that night. I was actually about to ask you whether you have had that experience.
Yeah.
Thank you for sharing.
There's that. It's because when you've mentioned it, I've realized from the men I've interacted with, there's they're very particular about where they eat.
Yeah, mostly food. They're very
they know where they should eat. Yeah. Like my partner has one place for fish. He doesn't eat for standard.
Okay. Yeah, it's so interesting that I would want to know like what is the other experiences of sensuality.
Yeah. For men.
For men. Yeah. That would be such an interesting conversation to have.
Also, it feels like a lot of all the languages, all the senses, mostly it's focused on women.
Yeah. The discussions are around
women, but not so much on men. I think that's where the mystery comes from.
Yeah.
Like the lack of actually engaging and finding out from them to make like an informed decision. Okay, this is what a lot of things is around women. So
but they also don't think about it.
They don't think about it in that way. Like for us, it's like, when I wear this, it makes me feel like, us, we have our language a lot is around like how you made me feel. It's about what it made me feel, how it made me feel. So that means we really check in with something.
Yeah.
For men, they won't come and tell you how you made me feel.
No, they won't do that. You'll just notice there's a certain trend also. Like when they want to do something that they like, there's a certain thing they wear. There's a certain cologne they choose. So you will, but there's not that consciousness from what I see. There's not that consciousness of they like it because it makes them feel nice. There's just that for certain things, this is their go-to. But they haven't
the language to it.
Yeah. So it's there. It's just that maybe they are not naming it.
Do you feel like, okay, so, and this is a bit of a caveat from the conversation, just from that. So, there's this conversation around that, women like men reading their mind. But do you feel like, now, just from what you've said, you actually need to read men more than, because they're less expressive, they're more solution oriented, and sometimes even in the solution orientation they do just do it more than they say it. Do you feel like there's more figuring out of men than men need to figure women? Because for us, we are more confused. We keep changing things.
Just put on a whole gender.
Sorry, I'm so sorry. Like, I think for us it's because things keep shifting. We keep shifting things.
And even hormonal.
Yeah. But for them it's more of like, it's not fully expressed.
Yeah, I do feel like there's more figuring out. And because there's an instance, like you read the person, right?
Yeah.
So a good example, there's a time when I was working and then I needed, or we'd agreed with my partner he should call some people to find out certain information. We agreed like a week ago, right? And then a week later, so I asked him about it and then he said he'll call. And then I'm like, call them now because you already postponed. So call them now when you're there, like when I can see you. He gave me a look of the way I interpreted it is like, this woman is crazy. You know, like the look, you could tell. It hit me. And it hit me at that first instant. I was like, I know that look. I know what I associated with. So I know if I trigger him, that's the look I'm getting. But it has taken like 4-5 years.
Yeah, to know and learn it. Yeah.
So it takes a little bit of time.
Oh, okay. That's, interesting. I think we need to, I feel like now I need to sit with men. I have so many questions.
Like a committee.
Yeah.
You ask them, and you?
Yeah.
And you, what do you think about what you said?
And this being men's mental health month, I feel like, because a lot of our senses and a lot of our sensuality does a lot with also how we are mentally and how we are perceiving things, how we are experiencing life, because you experience life through your senses. You experience life through, that's how you when I touch, when you smell something nice, it awakens something. When you touch something, when you hear people are saying, so we live through a lot through our senses.
Yeah.
And so for me, it would just be like, how are men so keen, like what is their keenness around sensuality and around their senses? I think that would be amazing to know. But I have another question for you guys. So what does being soft and powerful at the same time look like to you? Because one of the things that you have said about sensuality is about softness, it's about presence. But how do you are able to express softness and powerfulness at the same time? And I think just because we're in this scenario of masculinity, femininity, and femininity soft and blah, 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 how are you able to be in your sensuality and in your feminism and in your feminine energy, because that is termed soft, and be in your powerfulness as a person? And it's okay to say it's hard. It's difficult for me.
It is very difficult. Very difficult. First of all, I think, before I answer that question, there's this video, I think you either one of you is the one who shared it, like operating from your, what was that word? This lady who said, I always operate from my feminine energy. There's a podcast she was being hosted on. This lady said, I always operate from my feminine energy. Where was it? Feminine energy. If I remember it, I'll mention it. And the other thing I remember is when you had, when Wambui, you had transitioned and you now moved in with your partner. There are some things you had to let go of because you have a man in the house who's taking care of stuff. So also having a man who is secure in his masculinity, before I answer the question, makes you embrace your femininity and your softness. So from that angle, you can operate from your femininity, your softness in a powerful way. But I'd like to say I'm still in the masculine bracket. I have no idea. I would say in some instances, just allowing yourself to be, I don't know, a woman. I don't know if that answers the question. Okay. You know what? Repeat the question.
That question.
How does being soft and powerful at the same time look like to you? Yeah.
Okay.
I think for me, an example would be, nowadays I'm appreciating wearing very colorful things at the gym. And wearing that makes me feel like, oh, you look so
Baby
cute.
girl. Yeah.
You're such a, girl. And then I go and lift heavy. So I think I'm in my powerful.
Yeah.
Both at the same
time. So I think for me now, yes, in terms of if we're talking feminism, masculinity, I think I show up a lot in my masculinity. I wouldn't disagree with that. But what I'm finding is just small things that bring my softness out. I don't want to call it feminine energy. I just want to call it my softness. Like the areas in myself that I find soft. And that is hanging around kids. Like when I'm around my nieces, there's a softness that comes just being around kids. Like it removes you from and brings you down. But at the same time, in that scenario, you're still their protector. You're still their cat. Like kids have a way they just make you feel like, mushy and stuff, even when you see things online. But at the same time, it still presents you with this power of wanting to be there and presence for them, right? At workplace, I'm finding my softness in wanting to know more about people apart from work. Apart from me being like, I need 1, 2, 3 things done, is like, hi, how are you? What's happening, and you find people appreciate. I've actually been seeing, because we all work remotely, people appreciate that, the fact that you have this checked in before and I think that's part of managing softness and still being the powerfulness. I don't know whether that that would make sense. But I think I'm still learning on how to just be soft. Because for me, I wouldn't wait for someone to like carry a chair for me. I'll just carry it.
Yeah.
Those kind of things. So I'm still learning on how to be in my softness. But my softness, I think, is coming more from connection. I think that's where I'm showing more in my softness than in my, yeah. I think so. How does being soft and powerful at the same time look like to you?
How does being soft and powerful? I think one of the things I'm embracing in my 20, almost 30 years old, since I'm older, is dressing. I love feeling pretty.
Yeah.
Like right now I'm in a short dress. I'd worn black, and then I was like, I want to feel pretty today. I want to feel like just extra. And then I wore it and I was feeling really cute. I was like, oh my God, you know. Also, like when I go for functions, like I want to feel pretty, but I also want to show up like mental powerfulness, you know, like I can articulate myself, I can speak, I can talk, I can do all of these things.
Yeah.
And it shouldn't, you know how sometimes when you dress a certain way, there's a certain perception of your strength or your power, you know, of your brilliance.
Yeah.
So I'm like disconnecting that kind of notion, because there's a meeting I had and I was feeling like wearing a short and a vest. Like I was feeling like I'm feeling really cute, but it was a more like a strategic kind of meeting.
Yeah.
But I went like that because I was feeling really good. Yeah. And then I was meeting with men. And then like you could tell like at first when they see you, it's like they can see a woman, you know, a feminine woman. And then now when we start talking, it's like now you can see like there's a shift. Yeah. They are no longer just looking at you from this is a woman. They're also like listening, you know, engaging with your mind and things like those. So I feel like that's where the two come into play. Just being like you don't need to look a certain way to be perceived or feel powerful. You can own your femininity, dress the way you would feel nice. Yeah. And show up that way, because it shouldn't be correlated with if you're dressing a certain way, then you're not.
It's interesting because of lately I've been thinking of like, there's a time I recorded a video with my friend. I was like, maybe I should post this and tell people like, this is how I make strategic decisions in a, what do you call this? In a hoodie.
But then you've not posted?
Yeah, I didn't post. Okay. Like I was just like I'm seated here with a hoodie and sweatpants and socks and stuff like that. But I'm in a meeting deciding whether this should be something that should be in a budget or this should be removed. Yeah. And sometimes like, I think how you feel really helps with encouraging you with how you show up, even if it's like on an online setting. I think it does. There's a way when you like. There's a time I'm about to wear something. I'm just like, today I'm feeling like baggy shorts, and today I'm feeling like, and because of wearing that and being in the comfort of that which you are feeling and honoring that feeling, it gives you a confidence in another area because you honored a need. You actually trusted yourself with a need that you had and achieved it, and so it gives you the courage to show up somewhere else much more strongly.
Actually, right now, because we are working remotely, something I do that maybe someone might find weird is I dress up sometimes. Like once a week, I can wear a cute dress, makeup, and then sit. The first time I did it, my partner was like, "Are you going to work from the office today?" I'm like, "No, I'm working from home." Yeah. Like, then why are you dressed up? And I'm like, I feel nice. So this is how I'm showing up at work, and I had nothing to do with the video.
The whole day. Yeah. I think it's important to honor. I think when you honor those senses and feelings, I think they give you a sense of like joy. Yeah. They give you a sense of, they give you joy because there's the honoring, like I'm seeing me. You know, it's like an acknowledgement of like you're seeing yourself and acknowledge that need. So I want to just, because of time, I want us to go a bit into relation and connection. So what makes you feel most seen and desired in a relationship beyond the physical? That's a good question.
What makes you
feel most seen and desired in a relationship beyond the physical? Because I think sometimes we focus so much on how we look, and probably that's why Love is Blind is there. But like what makes you feel like most seen and desired in a relationship that is beyond the physical?
Playfulness. I don't know if that's something, but playfulness.
You are playful.
Then
at what point in this relationship are you playful?
No, let me give you an example.
We need to discover this version.
For example, I love animation. Me and animation.
You're talking about like anime.
So how? Okay.
Let me give you the example. This time I was dating Mo. That was 2023.
Yeah.
I was dating Mo, and there's this. I don't know. I think you guys have watched Zootopia.
Yes, I've watched it.
You remember the rabbits?
The animal singing.
Yeah.
You know it?
The
rabbit.
Yes, the rabbit the bunny that was the cop. And
Yes.
he had a partner.
Remember the video?
I remember it. We have done a video together.
She's here, yes.
We did that real together. Yeah.
Mkutana nyuma ya tent.
And there's no tent.
There's this part where they were tricking whatever, and then the rabbit was like, blood, blood, blood. Now, the finishing statement of that is, and death. So this one time I was from the living room, I think Mo was making something to eat. So, nimeingia kitchen, I'm like, blood, blood, blood. And then he said, and death. He just finished that, and I was like, oh, that is so nice. So that playfulness, that makes me feel seen.
When are we going to experience it?
I know.
You
There's a blood.
Blood. Finish.
And death.
Yeah, it wasn't the same. I just feel the same.
But it's not only in that. There's playfulness that you have out of physical touch, out of that relatability.
Yeah.
That makes me feel seen.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I think for me is intellectual and silliness, which silliness is actually a sign of someone who is intellectual. So I really enjoy when I can speak about something serious with someone and then still have jokes in between. We could like that kind of thing just, I don't know, it just erupts a different kind of engagement and connection. So I really enjoy intellectual conversation with a cherry on top, sprinkled things of silliness. Yeah. So I think that's one of the things that I think I'm doing a lot more, and I've found that I'm making very meaningful or leading to meaningful connections that is way above the physical aspect. Yeah.
Repeat the question.
What makes you feel most seen and desired in a relationship beyond the physical? My silliness and my intellect.
My playfulness, and I would say silliness too. Go on.
Most seen and desired beyond the physical. I think when someone remembers things, like if they remember something I said, especially something that's important.
Yeah.
Or like something I was excited about. Even if like the season has changed, but they remember that makes me feel seen. I think also when somebody, I know we say we should be expressive and say, but I also feel seen when somebody sees how I'm feeling without me saying, right? Like somebody can acknowledge, something about me, even if I don't say it.
Yeah.
Yeah, that makes me feel like they get me.
They get you. Yeah. That's usually a good thing. Yeah. I think that just shows their level of curiosity and interest.
Yeah,
they're beyond your words. They're beyond to like, who is this person from observation, and then who is this person from quantitative data that I'm collecting from what they're saying. That like, if you look at it from that kind of perspective.
Somebody actually told me that I don't know how, but they were saying when they sit with me, I don't talk a lot. They get it. Like we can talk kidogo here and there, but I also can be able to like sense someone and be like, just be there and be like, I can sense what's happening and not talk about it or anything, but I know. And then coincidentally they said the same thing, and I was like, okay, you also get me.
Nice,
it was very weird. Yeah, in a good weird.
Yeah. I want us to wrap up this conversation. I feel like we should have like a part 2. What is your love language, and how does it shape the way you give or receive sensuality?
Topic imekuwa serious.
All of a sudden. Okay.
Go back to the meaning and then we reverse engineer this. Yeah.
So it is the deep conscious experience of your senses.
Deep conscious experience of your senses.
And the pleasure, aliveness, and presence they bring.
Repeat the question.
What's your love language, and how does it shape the way you give or receive sensuality?
The way you give or receive sensuality.
Yeah. Sensuality is the
deep conscious experience of your
senses. Continue. There's a part I want to.
And the pleasure, aliveness, and presence they bring.
Okay. Pleasure, aliveness, and presence they bring. So mine is physical touch. Physical touch and quality time. How do they shape the way you give or receive love? So I think how I give love is words of affirmation. I love being someone's cheerleader. I love encouraging people. I love making people feel like they own the world. I hope I make you feel like that.
I'm thinking about it.
Wow, if you have to think about it, then I don't.
You're not doing a good job on her end. On mine is fine. Yeah.
Okay, thank you. I think words of affirmation. I think quality time is the other way I give love. Do I give you quality time?
Quality time is now physical, senses wise.
Senses wise, I think it's sight. It's physical also. Yeah, do I give you quality time? Because you're my partners.
Yes.
It's like, do I give quality time?
The other way is just seeing them, just like having an experience and just embodying them being there, them being present, them being around me. I think also part of even like maybe food and stuff like that, we get to celebrate such things just because we are with other people. I think sometimes you can actually go and have something good, but you never get to enjoy it because you don't have that experience with someone else. So I think for me that's how sensuality shows. And also just because we are girls listening in and just the funness that comes around that, I think really, both I think for either it's a partnership kind of thing and whether I'm just hanging out with my people and my family. I think the presence, I think it awakens multiple sensual.
Which other love languages are there?
So there's quality time, physical touch, acts of service, gifting, and words of affirmation. Yeah.
Okay. So the question was my love language and how it shapes the way I give or receive sensuality. So my love language is touch, both giving and receiving. So physical touch is the way I give and receive, and now words of affirmation. For example, have I affirmed you in any way?
Yeah.
Do
I actually are.
Do that?
I'm thinking about it.
Okay, so that would, I would say, my love languages as you think about it. And then in terms of how the second
sensuality.
one? Yes, how I give or
receive sensuality.
So remember, sensuality is about fully being in your body, aware of its sensations and allowing yourself to enjoy beauty, softness, pleasure. Okay. How does it affect sensuality, how I give or receive?
How does it make you feel more into yourself, into your own, into your senses? How does it awaken?
I would say,
like you have to think about both aspects.
Yeah. Okay, so how physical touch makes me show up? I'd say, sometimes you can be going through something. Now this, I'm saying from an experience. Someone else was experiencing a very low moment. And sometimes when you're very vulnerable, you don't want someone to look at you in the face, essentially. So what I did, I just went behind them and hugged them from the back. So in terms of how I wanted to take away their pain by that hug, essentially touch. So I would say 9 times out of 10, if I'm hugging you and you're vulnerable and you're in pain, I usually just feel like I want to take away the pain. So that's how, in terms of sensuality, how it works. How I receive it, I usually don't want to talk about it. If I'm going through something, I'm like...
You just want to be hugged.
No, I can hide. And then once I've compartmentalized or maybe analyzed it in my mind, is when now I'd talk about it. And then once I talk about it, it becomes very light. So at that point, I'm like, whatever weight it had on me, it's not as much. So I'd say that's how, in terms of sensuality, that's how I am. Words of affirmation will give you advice, I'd give you facts, I'd actually make you, this is now from Leah's feedback, I'd make you think of things you never thought of before. But then again, in aspects, if it's a chessboard, you're looking at half of the board, I'd make you look at the other half of the board. But in all that, I'm always affirming you for whatever it is you're doing. So same thing goes for me. Sometimes I doubt. And that's how it would... I don't know if that touches on sensuality, but yes.
Thank you for sharing.
Read me that question. I feel like it's so loaded.
It's loaded.
It is.
I think it's hard to just answer it in one
way. It has different...
There's no even correct way. So we are starting with
your love language and how it connects to your sensuality in giving or receiving of sensuality.
I feel like I have come out of having just one or prescribing to a certain one, because I feel like in different seasons I've seen that I want them in different seasons. There are seasons where I want words of affirmation, I want somebody to affirm me, and then there are seasons I just want to spend time. I don't want language or anything, I just want to spend time with someone. And then there's like this season for my birthday, I don't want gifts, I just want an experience. I want to spend time with people I love and care about. So now when I think about that, it makes it a bit challenging to choose one. But I think in this season, quality time is what I want. I want to spend time with people. So maybe the way it shows up in my senses, now I can't even choose sense of smell because now...
Are you smelling everyone?
Yeah, am I smelling? But I think then it's sight. Because like I'm very happy like I got to show you guys today. So
You got to show us.
I got to show you. So I think that makes me feel really, really nice. You know, it's like the way I'm saying I want to see like Kinarubi. Like just see them. If I see them there, I'm like, good, cool. So in terms of like how now my sensuality, I don't know if it does anything for my sensuality.
But the goodness of seeing them gives you pleasure.
It makes me feel really, really good.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think for the different seasons, every time I'm able to do that, because like even the story I was giving you about being gifted, like after I got over the initial feelings, I felt nice.
Yeah.
I was like, this was thoughtful, but not because of the gift, but because of the thought behind the gift. So it made me feel nice, and also made me like, it also like kind of like increased feelings for the other person, because we're like, there's a level they went extra. So yeah, I think that's what I would share. I don't even know if I've answered the question.
I think that makes a lot of sense. The reason why we're struggling also through the discussion around sensuality is because of presence. Like we never connect our expression and connection or experiences of things to our sensuality. Just like, oh, this food tastes nice. Yeah, you're just living through. We don't take time. Because when you take time, you can feel, like how people say, like, you can feel tension around your body, like trauma is stored in your body or something of the sort. I think pleasure is also experienced in our body.
Yeah.
But because we don't take too much time and presence to identify, where am I feeling?
And because we only think about sex
in terms of sensuality,
in terms of sex. Yeah. So we don't seek other ways of pleasure and softness
we don't even think
in our
about
senses. Yeah, we also don't think about it. And that's why I think maybe it's a bit of a struggle to connect it with the way that we want to receive love and be seen and be heard and be experienced as a human.
And then we store it for up to like when you go on
holidays. Yeah, that's when you want to feel.
Now you want to feel a certain way.
Yeah.
But when you come back, you now like there's no time for this life.
You don't even think about it. Yeah. So maybe it's a call for us to learn more about sensuality and how do we show up in our sensuality day to day. Yeah, because I think if we did that, probably we would experience more life in fullness, and I think we'd also be able to honor our internal needs more frequent than just sometimes, because then you'd be able to know, what do I need at this time? What kind of pleasure do I want to experience? Is it good food? Is it presence? Is it touch? And be able to seek that out from people who can be able to give you that, or you can be able to know how you can be able to give that to yourself. And I think anytime we honor our needs, there's fullness of more joy. Yeah. And I also think sensuality is around also experiencing other people. Yeah. Esther Perel said, self cannot exist on its own. It exists in connection. So self-awareness, self-love, all this selfish has to exist in connection to other people. Because if you cannot see other people, if you cannot enjoy food with other people, if you cannot, touch is about someone else. Yeah. Touch makes more sense when it's about other people. Also when it's about yourself. So all of them are accepted. But anyway, thank you so much. And tell us, what does sensuality means to you? How do you embrace your sensuality? How do you give and receive sensuality? I didn't think that's something that you can actually do. So I think it's also a call on us to go and like check in more and probably have another episode on this discussion. And with men, because this would be so exciting to know, right?
Very.
So thank you guys. Make sure that you follow us on all our social media pages at we_r_Theo. Our podcast, you're on all podcast platforms. We'll be going on YouTube. So also you can get us on YouTube. And yeah, we would really, really love to hear from you. So thank you so much and have a nice time. Bye-bye.